right. I appreciate
I,
you doing this with me.
no, man. I appreciate it more. I mean, it's always fun to talk, with people that couldn't talk otherwise about something that you love and you spend time into, etc. So thank you also about that.
Course. All right. Let's get started here. I know in our Discord messages we were texting about you're from Greece, right?
Yeah, yeah, from Athens.
What's the Gundam scene like out there?
About the Gundams in here, there are two. There's a very good thing and also a not very good thing. The best thing is that we have in my opinion, a very good level from the local scene, general, normal tournaments and going to new type challenges and the last tournament with invitation. It was very intense. We have good players. The bad thing is that we have few players. Not many people play Gundam in Greece. And coming from One Piece, which is booming, it's huge. In Gundam, we have on average 20 people, at least in Athens. There are in some major cities in Greece, there are some few other people as well. But we are not so many that I would like to, because I want to enjoy big tournaments, many rounds, see more decks, see new players coming in. I'm afraid that we don't have much manpower.
Are there any shops you want to shout out from your area?
Yeah, the three big ones that I always play to, Arcane Forge is the one, Anthem Effect, and No Label X. Shout out to them. I love them all. They put up with my yelling and my enthusiasm a lot of times. They're friendly, very friendly and good people.
You're a passionate guy.
Yeah. Sometimes I tend, when the first round goes in, I tend to hype up the plays, clapping. Let's go! It's first round. It is funny because sometimes, maybe a mother and the child come into the store to buy something and they see a dude like me screaming at the top of my lungs, let's go.
How did you get into the Gundam TCG?
I was playing One Piece. One Piece was my first ever TCG that I was playing at, tournaments, local style. When I was with a buddy of mine, we were at the shop and he saw a beta box of Gundam. And he looked at me and he said, okay, it's Gundam, it's robots, it would be cool. My response to him was, I don't know, man. I'm very into One Piece right now. I don't know if I will play it. And then also another buddy of mine made us a surprise. He told us that he won't play, but I saw one extra beta box when we were at my friend's house. And I'm like, okay, guys, so we are in. And then we started playing Gundam, and I have been playing since the release of the game. Judging by One Piece, there are two different games, all right, but there are some similarities. The whole aspect of okay, even if I have my units up and I can attack you, I'm in a spot where I can prolong that. I don't need to do it right now. I want to keep to push my advantage, for example. There are some things in One Piece that I didn't like too much because I was playing mostly roguelike decks with the leaders were not meta tier, Z tier, if I can say so. But when I got into Gundam, I found out that the gameplay suited me more about the trading and about how to take my time and to think about my moves and what impact could they have. Because on a surface level, someone may see Gundam and see, okay, you just throw units, you link. There are many layers to it. And as far, as we get more new sets with GDO5, we got like the MF deck, which is spectacular. It added even more layers. And by far is the hardest to play right now. Yeah, to answer your question, I started from One Piece, but I played Gundam ever since, and I never played One Piece again. I went too deep, man. Too deep.
So you mentioned a few things that I wanted to talk about.
Ah, sorry about that. I
No,
tend to
no,
do this.
you're good. I like the full, fleshed out answers. But so, what do you think makes Gundam better than other TCGs?
Mm. To be precise, to answer that question fully, I need to have experience with many other TCGs. I'm mostly an online player.
Mm.
Um, I have tried online card games like Hearthstone, Runeterra, a few matches of Gwent also. But before that, I used to play the Warcraft trading card game. That was my first love and my biggest love. I cannot compare Gundam, to games like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! I can judge it by its own merit for, what is, how much time do I have to spend into, and firstly, how much do I enjoy the process? Because if you don't enjoy the process of trying new decks, deck building, play testing with your friends or local, enjoying victory and defeat, all those things combined make, for me a good TCG. For me, I I like Gundam a lot because of the risk factor that you have to take account the risk factor that you have to put your place in a position that okay, when I play a game, for example, I'm the turn X, 3, 4, or whatever. What is the thing that I should be most be afraid of? What is the worst thing that my opponent can do to me? Then you go to, does it have it? Does it not? If he did have it, he will go with it. Then you'll have to always adjust, your plays judging by your opponent's, maybe previous turns. It's a very, it's like the butterfly effect. I don't know if I can say it correctly. There are many my decisions that, for example, you have your root hunt, and you'll have to make choices. Those choices spread to some other branches. You need to find the correct way to approach the game. And for example, one mistake that I see many players do, of course, even me, it's when you do a certain play, a certain series of plays, and you get a victory, you get a W, you're all good. You go to the next game and you try to do the exact same thing, and then you get smashed. All, timing is different, games are different. Maybe at one game your move and your approach worked out, but it's not necessary that it will work out in the next game. You need to always take as a factor your hand, your opponent's life, the board state, all those parameters. And this is a very short answer on why I like the Gundam game. If you want, I can send you painkillers in America for the headache. If I.
I see what the shops have to deal with. No, you're good. So, the reason I found you, right, is I saw that you were ranked number 2 on Mobile Suit Arena.
Yeah.
What did it take for you to reach that position?
Very good question. About playing Gundam online, on Mobile Suit Arena, on regional level or the local level, I think that three different things. You have to have a different approach to the game. You wouldn't play if, for example, you were playing on a regional level, you were like 4-0, going to the next round, pressure is building up. You cannot play that game like you would play a game in online, for example. Online gaming is more easy in a sense that people tend to do more mistakes. For example, you are on your screen, you're putting on some music, maybe you are with your buddies on Discord, someone says a joke, ha ha ha, oh my god, what I've done, I misplayed. It can happen naturally. For me, ranking online is putting on the reps. Find a deck that you like, that also it's a meta contender. Uh, if you want to push for a higher rank, you can't do it with a roguelike deck, but you need more time to see its weaknesses and try to fix it. In my case, on this season, I've played only mobile fighters, only MF. Only before 2 days I started, because I was getting bored. It's 3 weeks in. I cannot play anymore red white at this point. I'm like, okay, let me try something different. So I've been experimenting with blue red, League Militaire, and Strike Freedom stuff. If you want to play online, you need to be focused. You need to be locked in. Maybe try and put not some disturbing music at the maximum, and stick to one deck. Stick to one deck because when you try and change decks, maybe you will go to a mismatch, and the RNG factors become much higher than sticking to one deck. And you need consistency. Also, for someone who's trying to rank up, don't be discouraged if you lose 3 games in a row. I mean, it's a card game after all. There is always the luck factor. It doesn't mean that you did all things wrong and world went to an end. Sometimes it's luck's on your side, sometimes not. Sometimes it's more on your opponent. All people that get to a good ladder rank, as far as I understood, is you need to make good streaks. For example, 9, 10, 15. One guy that I met sometime told me he had the 30. I meant, okay, 30 is kind of insane, but I don't have, I don't care too much to say, show me a picture or I don't believe you. Good streaks comes at a good with a good rank, and also don't never forget that if you get 80 feats per day, the next defeat lose you more points.
Mm,
Some people maybe tend to forget that.
mm.
It's way more punishing that way.
How many games do you play a day?
I don't count them. It's always I'm judging it by the mood. When I feel like it, I will go. Okay, I'm on a good streak. I need to test my deck. I want to do some changes.
Yeah.
I play a lot, apparently, but yeah, it's I don't count them, or I don't have a fixed amount of time.
How do you find the motivation to like play online? Because I've tried and I can only get like 2 games in per day.
Oh, that's a very good question because I always talk about myself now, and I wanted to ask you some things also about your perspective and your experience with the game. So, have you ever played Dark Souls or any Soulsborne game?
I've played Black Myth Wukong.
Okay, okay. We get to a mutual point. Uh, what I want to say is that one very good friend of mine told me this. For example, if you die at those games, you lose all your currency.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, okay, Bill, the trick is you don't look at your currency. You play as like you don't have something to lose on. So, for example, if someone gets burned out, first of all, it doesn't give you anything. Rank is just a number.
Mm.
I want to, it that not it means something, okay, but it doesn't get you more food on your table. It doesn't give you money, so you have nothing to lose. You're just there to have fun. So, if you want to play more games and be at a better rank and maybe play with better opponents to improve your level, that's I totally respect that, and I do that. I tend to do that. Don't chase the rank. Chase the games. Chase your defeats. Yeah, even as corny as it sounds, you will learn 300% more things from your defeats than your victories. I have always, because before MSA, I played on another simulator also, not Zubo Sim. I don't remember. There was another with an interesting interface. I learned many things from, decks and people that I couldn't imagine of. For example, I was playing with one guy before in the early days, of like early GD2 or something. He was a red-white fanatic, and I played so many games against him, so many games, and then I tried to implement them on my deck, on my play style. I was looking, oh wait, what are those power terms? He just linked Gundam, but I was Justice Gundam. I took two attacks. I was already low, for example. What I want to say is that playing online is a very good thing to see other ideas and see other plays,
Mm.
other takes in the deck. And the trick is to try to make them your own and understand why they were good in the first place. Take your time. Nobody cares if you're on a 12 win streak. When if you play, whatever deck you play, it's all a learning curve. It's an experience, and for me, it's trying to enjoy the process. That's another short answer for you, Justin.
I love it. Okay, so we're talking about regionals and top tier level play. What is your current goal?
I don't want to let you down, but it's just to have fun. I just want to have fun, man. I have only been to a regional once here that we had some months earlier in Greece. It was GD3 meta. I don't know when did you start playing Gundam? Did you play from the start or from
GDO
another
4
set? Nice, nice. So you missed the blue purple nightmare
by this much.
shitstorm. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. No, sorry that I cursed. I was playing. I played that the regionals. It didn't go. It didn't go well. I was playing blue purple, but I started like 0-2. My opponent first match triggered Kusanagi. I was already having a weak hand. It slowed me down, so the O get to me. And I remember my second match was a blue-red Cassatria pink, Banshee control, fully teched to counter the blue-purple. The dude told me, I just came here to win blue-purple. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bursting like crazy, picking like crazy. I was bumped at this point, but it's okay. It is what it is. My goals are always just, to have fun. What I found out by playing is when I try to set the bar too high by, ambition or whatever you want to call it, I always tend to fumble a little.
Mm.
So, judging by that, I understood that I'm always at my best level when I try to have fun, when I'm more relaxed, when I don't, have the pressure or anything like that. If I am chilled, as chill as you can be for a guy yelling, you if I'm chilled, inside and feel good, I know that I can be very strong game. So this is where my best moments come in and enjoy the most.
It's good. You gotta have fun, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's many people overlook this factor, but it's the most important thing. If you think that some people that maybe would be good at this game or would like to try it, they don't have the chance. For example, they don't have, maybe local store, maybe they don't have money. They know what this is. So we are lucky that we get to experience, a game and a community, talking with other people. If you told me before 3 or 4 years that I would talk to a guy from Boston online about the game that we, mutually like, I would say no, man. There's no chance. It's crazy. This is the best thing.
This is awesome, yeah. We get to share our experiences and talk to people from across the world.
Yeah, man.
What is your favorite deck right now? I know you mentioned MF earlier. Is that still your favorite deck?
Yeah, by far, by far. Like It's for me, it's a no-brainer. I can tell you why. Before, in the previous metas, judging the game always by set one, for example, there's a gradual growth in terms of gameplay depth. I will not go into the aggro and control and the block resolve and all these things. People know it. All who play Gundam knows about this stuff. There's a fundamental difference in the decks and the approach to the game. When GD1 came out, there were three decks that were mostly the dominant. The blue white good stuff, and the 1 year war, which was for me, in my opinion, was the best deck by far ever. A deck that can end you the game by 10-5. It's a very big thing. So MF for now, from the new release of GDO5, is the deck that I mostly have fun with because there were many micro decisions. It's like the example that we told earlier, that I referred earlier before about the root and the branches. If you take, for example, let's say, are you familiar with the purple blue Barbatos and the Strike Freedom deck?
Yep.
Okay. The plays I take this deck, for example, are very streamlined. I play on my Kerev, I play the big boys when I can. Maybe on one turn I will cope with widespread annihilation, your level or something. It's very streamlined. The decisions on your hand are already there. You don't have to make much effort to make them. When you play MF, it's the first deck in Gundam that I have lost 5 games because I decked out myself. This shows something. This shows the potential. When I have a deck that I can use also overflowing affection, for example, I can see 2 cards. I got a new red card with the airframe seizure. I can see more of my deck. One pilot gets me to draw and discard one. I can play new sign. I can play all those things. I've never imagined that I would play a Gundam deck from the start that I can deck out myself. This is a huge weapon. You can it allows you even MF can be very strict on its archetype, on how you build how you do your building on your deck, but it can allow you also many more options, new rules. For example, most of the times you want one precious card on your deck, you want it 4 times because you want to see it, right? MF doesn't care. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put 2 copies of it. If I can draw all my deck, okay, maybe most chances are that I will see it. I will put 2 or 3 copies in case 1 copy is on my life that I cannot see those cards. So it's very different from the games and the style that we used before. From a control point of view, we were like at top deck wars. For example, red-white, control justice or whatever, versus green-white. You were on top deck wars from like turn 12 or something. Games were just by that. Now we have improved. It's an upgrade. Also, you have a deck like MF, which can do all those things that I told you before, but it can also compete with the aggro. When your opponent throws many, for example, small winnies or whatever at you, you have a potential power play at level 4 with the Shining Gundam Link to take out 2 bodies and have a spare mana, a spare resource to even put up in a base or draw more or play for another, for Darkness Finger, for example, to pop another unit. So you got 3 units of your opponent with just 1 combo. I think that the deck is very good, by far my most favorite deck on the set. It makes me happy because I see that Bandai probably throws us this deck just to test the waters, to see, okay, how is the community going to respond to this gameplay, to this game style? More combo, more in depth, more micro decisions. It's time to move on from the okay, who finds the more low drops and spit it out on the board and gets on the base. It's evolution for the game. The third most short answer that I can give you, my friend. You see?
I think that was the shortest one too. So, what would you consider the deck's weaknesses are?
You mean the mobile fighters?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's itself most of the times. It's like, you look yourself at the mirror. It's more easy to screw things up. One bad call, one bad discard, because you need to take consideration all the factors. All. What have my opponent shown me? What are his most possible draws and links? What have I seen? What maybe I have bottom decked with my, for example, my Maxter gun. The Pansky man, which searches for. Which is also a very different aspect of that game. I can talk about it, 2 hours, but I don't think we don't have time about that. And I don't want to joke about it, but it's the truth. It's itself. Sometimes you can misplay because you maybe have the perfect answer in front of you and the most efficient one, but because you are used to make all those decisions, you can maybe, it's like tripping on yourself by your own. But gameplay-wise, the worst matchups for the deck, you always have to respect the aggro Fiesta, the aggressive high roll of, for example, a purple-green deck. Okay. You will always have to play around, the big turns for the strike freedom decks. You need to be set up. You cannot casually. That's also what I meant earlier before. You cannot casually just throw one unit, one Master Gundam alone on the board and cross your fingers and hope, oh, my opponent are better. I hope that he doesn't have the strike freedom to bottom deck it. You will always need to respect your opponents, respect his high plays. But yeah, aggro can be I think the worst opponent for mobile fighters, because it all depends on your hand. If you don't see your pieces and he sees his, you are cooked. If you are playing versus control, you can gradually, even with a bad hand, you have more time to filter your hand, and that's where the strength of the deck comes in.
So you mentioned something where, at least just now, you wouldn't throw Master Gundam alone, so it would get bottom decked. Is that something you're thinking about when you're playing against blue?
Yeah. All decks right now that use blue, they splash the freedom. You're laughing because you know it's true, my friend.
PTSD.
I'm sure you know. Yeah, man. You had the evolution of the blue-purple that uses freedom. You have the blue-red Cassandra Banshee control with the freedom, and you have many variations. The blue-red got good stuff. This is insane. Probably the most powerful deck in the format. For me, it's not in the level. It's not such as oppressive as the blue-purple, the OG blue-purple, but it's very good. The only color I think that it doesn't, masses in, it's the blue-green. But I'm sure that someone will find the recipe and we will see a blue-green strike freedom, something like combining Londo Bell and Kira or coordinator trait, whatever. Oh, it also shows you that the game is improving. For example, in GD1 we had the boss monster, the Wing Zero, the Boogeyman. Then GD04 we have the Neo Zeong, terrific boss monster, very refreshing on the meta. People, were experimenting with this. People there trying to. I was seeing that people were enjoying more the game because it allowed more options. And now we got the biggest of them all. I don't know how this will go, but for me it's a very I believe that it's very balanced. Even if it's the most powerful boss monster, it's the most balanced one. It all depends on how you go, how you will enter those turns, the turn 8.
Yeah.
You need to have the advantage if you're facing the strike freedom. Because if you are behind, it's the worst possible combination of, okay, my opponent is winning more. And a good strike freedom player will not, just casually, okay, he's ahead. He will not just use his cards and bottom deck your, winning your L3 or whatever. He will press the advantage. He will not use the effect. He will say, okay, I'm already ahead. I'm gonna link the strike freedom and I'm gonna draw 2 cards more. This puts him in a much more, offensive and dangerous spot for you.
What are some things you think you can improve on?
Oh, for sure, my timing, and I mean the time that I take to think my turns. I lost at one round at a new type challenge, the previous mission, because I went to time. I was thinking too much, and after that day, I was like, okay, I need to play faster, and playing faster is always a matter of repetitions, of practice. Because if you know something, you will do it more fast. Also, I could improve many things. The most important, I think, is being calm enough to see all the decisions. And I don't do this, but I will give it as a general advice to anybody, watch the video. And about also for me, advice, and for you, Justin. Never underestimate an opponent, no matter what. I mean, it's still a card game. You can be the top guy, the most tenured guy, but it's a card game, which means sometimes luck is better than skill. That's the sad truth. Some games come down to that. So never underestimate any of your opponents. He may have thought of a play that you didn't think. He can counter you, make a very good run. So respect all your opponents and all the potential plays. But yeah, I need to play faster. That's my. To sum it up, I need to play faster.
Yeah, I like that last bit towards the end. Don't underestimate your opponent, because I feel like if you're staring across maybe a kid or someone who think never played the game, you're gonna play worse than what you normally play.
Yeah, man. I have lost many games, not only online from rank 6,000 or whatever, and at the local, at our locals. You never know what will happen, or how the cards are in the deck, what maybe your opponent has. Being being aware of the fact that you can be very unlucky takes a ceiling on you. I mean, puts a ceiling on you. So it's like putting extra weights for practice. For example, going to the gym or something, and you expect things that most people won't see or don't imagine. For example, respecting the bursts, knowing, okay, my opponent, what color does he play? What are the strengths of those colors? What are, for example, okay, the potential links? Always keep in factor that.
So, do you take all the cards, right? And do you read all their effects, or do you just play the game and then you learn the cards that way?
Usually the second. I will take the second to curtain. I'm just like, okay, I may be fascinated by some cards and effects, so will get me, to read the whole, effects and archetypes. When I do that, I get discouraged because I'm fascinated by, Zeta Gundam, Epion, some cards that are not playable on a competitive level. But I will, for example, a new set comes out. I know, for example, what I like. What I like on the last set, I really liked green red Xeon. Not necessarily with Neo Xeon. I wanted, for example, to abuse the Zaku Searcher. I thought that it was fascinating, to have a card that fetches you another card. It's +1. It's in this case, it replaces itself. So I will see, some cards and some plays that I try to make decks, judging by the power of those cards. On a new set, usually I'm like, okay, YOLO. What do we have? I saw those, for example, 5 decks. What I would play, what would make me more happy, would be more enjoyable to play. I play this deck, for example, the MF, and then when I put the reps in, I'm like, okay, those plays work, those plays don't work. I can take on those cards and not put in there, for example, a random card. It's a whole process of building and debuilding. It doesn't differ from any creative process in whatever you may create. But I like to sum it up, experiment and use maybe a general powerful idea that I have seen online and try to implement it on my own style to be more slow, to be maybe more controlling.
All of your decks are homebrewed in a sense.
Yes, with the exception of the blue purple. The difference was 9 day on how powerful the deck was, so I had to play it. Yeah, mostly my all my decks. I don't have the starting idea, but I will implement things and make it on my own. As I said, I had this greedy list with red and green that had, full frontal and Neo's Young stuff. Also had, some wing zeros in it because why not? Very greedy. One deck that I took a lot of pride in making it, which was mostly my not original idea, but I had a red blue Banshee control deck at the GDO4, but it was not mostly control. It had, the vanilla level 3, the Rizal stat line. I was playing 3 white bases. It was a mix of minions and commands because if we talk about Banshee control, I don't like a slow control deck that has not the ability to pressure his opponent. All decks, can whiff. It's Gundam after all. You need to have a deck that has the ability to pressure your opponent. Not pressure it even, like a knight aggro, but at least tempo-wise, throwing a body, chipping 1 life at 1 round. This is it's it's insane. If you can chip 1 life and take control the board for 3 consecutive rounds, you are mostly likely to win. So I had this deck, the Banshee. I really liked it. I had the finance, the command that seals your life. So you could finance, you can bait your opponent and go for your life, then recycle it. If you were lucky, you would find it again. It was a very fun deck. All the commands and all those things, I really liked a lot.
So when you say tempo, what do you mean by that?
In case maybe if someone sees the video doesn't know it also the tempo. It's a term that it's used very often in the card games. All cards in all zones have different value. There are the cards in my hand, the cards in my life, in my deck, and in my board. Tempo is the value of your board state. So, for example, if I say there's a blue-white player, he goes into his fourth round, a fourth resource, and he uses a soft resolve, which draws him 2. This play, tempo-wise, is 0 because it didn't affect the board at all. It's a tempo loss. For me, all well-balanced decks should always, keep up the tempo. Gundam is a very proactive game. You need to be ready. The first guy who builds a good board state has the advantage, to get more lives, to manipulate the board, maybe to rest his opponent's blockers. This is the reason why, for example, say that the blue-white deck, the soft resolve play should be a 7 turn or a later turn. Because if you do it earlier, you're losing tempo. Why you're losing tempo? Because you don't deploy units, you don't deploy value on the board zone, which can be very punishing in Gundam.
Okay, we're reaching the end.
No, man. I want to be more. I mean, I really enjoy this, Justin.
This probably won't be the last video we make.
Yeah, yeah, I'm only for that. I'm only for that.
So is there anything that you want to see change within the Gundam TCG?
No, and nothing particular that comes to my mind. We should not forget that Gundam is. I don't want to sound too specific, but in the end, it's a corporate product. And what I mean by that is that it is a game designed for people like us to play and enjoy and possibly buy new more stuff. There are whole teams in every company that will see, how do the customer feel, about the product, about the state of the game. If something, goes very out of line, for example, as we have with the Blue Purple Nightmare, Bandai will fix it. Now, the question that when will the problems be fixed? When the solutions are to be made? It's depending on them. Sometimes, judging by the ban list also on this, it comes way later. Deck may be a tyrant for a pretty big match amount of time. But as far for the game state, I really like it a lot. I think that we have the best meta right now. It's diverse, One dude smacked me in the MSA with a red-green command academy Suleta deck with the Caliban Gundam. This is those moments are good. This is what makes a card game to be enjoyable, to have variety, and the community is great. I have met only good people, and here in Greece, and a few people that have known, worldwide. Always eager to help, to ask questions. Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. If anything needs to be changed, it will be changed in the future, but it's not for us to worry. We are still here to play the game.
This was a great interview, man. You gave some amazing answers.
I think that I was babbling a lot, but I'm at a certain point of my life where I care about, a lot about those stuff. I'm mostly happy that I could talk to you and we do this. Maybe, more people will play the game more, enjoy themselves more. Also, we can always, if someone, needs wants to ask some questions, and ask for some tips. Internet is a very powerful tool. You can always use that. Write a comment. Ask, okay, if I play this deck and do this, we will check the answer always.
That's beautiful, man. So I'm looking forward seeing what you do next, maybe what we do
Yeah,
next.
man.
Um,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Thank you.
is there anyone you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug social media wise?
I'm thinking about, creating a YouTube channel and maybe streaming some games and some reviews. But I will let you know
Perfect.
as soon as I make them. Shout out to all my friends. I have blessed to play with my childhood friends, people that I know for 20 years, playing card games together. They always humble me when I think, okay, maybe I'm good at this. I will do. No, no, no. They come at me, bam. So they keep me levered on the ground. Shout out to them and all the good people and friends that I have met by playing, Gundam.